lot, how is everyone? For today's sketchbook page I'm going to be doing a little study of the work by Georgia O'Keeffe. I actually did something like this for one of my either GCSE or A-level sketchbooks at school. We were looking at natural forms in art and Georgia O'Keeffe is like the ultimate for that. She also just seems like she was an amazing woman. I'd recommend reading up on her if you haven't heard of her. I actually spelled her name wrong at the top here, but don't worry, I corrected that by the end. You would never know. And then just as a little extra on the page, I thought I'd do a little sketch of her before looking into some of her work. We'll go through this bit quite quickly since it's not that relevant to the topic of today's video, but I still thought you'd like to see the process of the drawing and get an idea of how to maybe snazz up a more sort of serious or informational page in your sketchbook. So like Miss O'Keeffe, I decided I'd work in watercolour today. I'm working on a really light, rough sketch that I did in yellow pencil just to get the composition vaguely in place. I didn't realise how long it had been since I last used watercolour, but wow, I really struggled. I really couldn't get into my stride with it. I don't know how it used to be like my main art medium of choice. So I started out by repainting the lily from her work titled, I didn't write it down actually, but it's something like A Lily Turned Away. So this is a really great practice, recreating the work of one of the masters. It helps to break things down, get a better understanding of their process. Now it's important when you're doing a study of an artist like this and their work that you don't just copy. It's called a study for a reason, you know, so definitely put a bit of time into reading up on the artist and their process and what tools they use and how and why. So this piece is called Light Iris. I liked this one because it had more of an abstract feel to it. Also, it has more of that cropped close-up look that Georgia O'Keeffe is famous for. I went in with coloured pencil towards the end of this one just to sharpen things up and add depth where it needed it, and little details and things that I couldn't figure out with the watercolour. But it was fun playing with the colours and gradients and blending. Yeah, I don't know, it took me way longer than I thought it would just because I really couldn't remember the ins and outs of watercolour, which is partly why I switched to gouache for the last painting. Obviously a medium that I'm a lot more comfortable with, but also I think it suited the painting. The original is called Leaves of a Plant. At the end I got mixed up and wrote that it was called Oriental Poppies. But yeah, it's a lot more bold in colour and opaque. I know Georgia O'Keeffe sometimes used oil instead of watercolour. I'm not sure if she did for this one, but I thought gouache would be a good substitute regardless to get across the brightness and the colourfulness of it. And straight from the beginning I knew this would be my favourite study. The original painting itself is gorgeous, I love the colours, and just honestly not using watercolour made me feel so much more in control. Even though I'm happy with the outcome of the other two paintings, this one felt a little bit more me, a little bit more like something I would do. And studies like this help you trial and error things that you otherwise might not have tried, and maybe discover things that you want to incorporate into your own work. It's also a great way to learn about, you know, the most fundamental names in art in a fun way and in a way that's going to give a little panache to your sketchbook. Anyway, I just finished up by sticking that last one in with Pritt Stick, and then I used some black washi tape to make little labels for the two main paintings. I also wrote out a little quote that she supposedly said. I know there are a lot of fake quotes floating around the internet, so you never know, but I liked it anyway. It's basically about being put down as the best woman painter, but she sees herself as one of the best painters, full stop. And that's about it. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. If you're struggling to get something down in your sketchbook, I think this is a great option. And if you have a go, I would love to know what artist you do it on. But yeah, till next time guys, bye.